This is Mazda's answer to vehicles like the Ford Ranger Wildtrak, Toyota Hilux Rugged X, or even the GR Sport, and the Navara Warrior Pro. It's called the SP Pro, and it's based on the otherwise flagship GT SP or SP GT, I can't remember which way around it is, but it's an option pack. You can buy it from a Mazda dealer as a factory option, so you can have it delivered like this, but it's not a specific variant or a bespoke variant per se. One of the main detailed changes you'll notice are these wheels, aftermarket style wheels, 18 inches in black, but they are still wrapped in highway terrain tyres, so it's not the best if you're planning some rugged off-roading. And you may have also noticed it features a lift kit. Full nitrocharger suspension upgrade package, upgraded springs, raising the ground clearance by 2 inches over the standard model. And then lastly, you've got some black trimmings, wheel arch surrounds and so on, and a nice little decal down the side. I think this is a good option pack if you're already considering to upgrade and do some modifications, because with the suspension kit, you can raise it up and you've got the coverage of Mazda's factory warranty. And they've tested it with the stability control and everything, so it's all properly engineered and ready for this vehicle. And then you can go and add your own wheels and tyres and things like that. It also comes with the roller shutter blind here, quite a heavy tailgate, and it doesn't have dampers or anything, so it just slams down. But yeah, you've got this manual roller shutter. You can actually lock it in halfway as well if you want to. Even though it's not electric, I think having these roller shutter blind type setups is way better than the old hardcover, the sort of doors that used to swing up, because you can utilize the space and have the height when it's rolled back, so you can put an upside down wheelbarrow or whatever in there. But then when you finish with the day, you can close it up and you can actually lock it. It's got a separate key as well. It also means when you're going, having a weekend away with the kids and so on, you can put things in there, lock it up, and it's going to be pretty secure. It is fully waterproof as well. It's got some seals there, so it should be able to keep everything nice and dry. And the last little upgrade is around at the front. You may notice an LED light bar neatly integrated into the grille there. And that's a nice touch too, I think. It doesn't disrupt the design of the BT50. It's just nicely tucked away in the grille. Speaking of the design, I think the BT50 is one of the more sort of elegant and classy looking utes. A lot of them out there are macho and tough, whereas this goes for more of a prestige kind of style, especially at the front. It's got Mazda's latest design theme, pointed headlights and so on. It looks very nice, but I don't know about off-roading. Down below here, you've got painted plastic. Even this section here, it's metallic grey, and yeah, it just gets scratched very easily, whereas some of the rivals, these lower trimmings are just basic black plastic, unpainted, so it doesn't matter so much if you scratch it. The approach angle isn't too bad on the BT50, so you should be able to get through most situations within, reasonable limits anyway. And then inside, it's got a very nice interior. It's definitely more premium and luxurious than a lot of the rivals, partly thanks to the two-tone trim we've got here. But nice seats, they're very sculpted and hold you in nicely. And even across the dash, we've got some contrast stitching and more of that sort of browny, tanny coloured leather. I quite like the driving position of the BT50 and D-Max that it's based on. I like the steering wheel as well. It's a nice sporty 3-spoke steering wheel. Just feels nice in your hands, and Mazda has applied its leather trim there. Pretty basic little instrument cluster display there. You can change what you want to view, but like in the D-Max, you've got like 1 second to select your options, otherwise it disappears straight away and you've got to start back again and go through it. And you can't go through some of these systems while you're driving due to safety reasons. It deems it not safe to be fiddling with this sort of stuff. The touchscreen here is not the best in its class, far from it actually in my opinion. It's very basic, very crude graphics, like it's mostly black and white, and it just doesn't have the best sort of functionality and menu layout or menu flow. This area here is probably the sort of cleanest, and that's just the settings page. If you're going through different radio stations and you keep toggling through, it'll eventually say you've been, making too many selections, and it will actually block you out from making any more selections until you stop, which is, a little bit over the top in my opinion. One thing that Mazda has incorporated from the diesel, which is a great feature is this little steering wheel button. So you just hold that down and it will turn the lane keep assist off. I find those sorts of systems pretty frustrating, and in the Mazda and D-Max, it's pretty good. It's not, you know, too over the top. Some systems out there, they really pull and tug at the steering wheel, whereas this system, it seems pretty refined, but I still find myself just turning it off every single time I drive it because it's just, yeah, a little bit frustrating. It does reset as part of the latest rules. When you turn the vehicle off, you've got to turn it back on, hit the button again. I like the climate control panel down here, very easy to read. You've just got your temperature on the sides there, so dual zone, and aircon button separate as well. And then down below we've got the rear diff lock button, and then you've also got your dual range transfer case configuration there. It does feel quite luxurious in here. I think it definitely feels a lot more premium than the D-Max that it's based on, mainly due to this sort of two-tone dash or two-tone theme that's going on. It just, I don't know, it just adds a bit more of a 3D depth. Got dual glove boxes, which is handy if you're, you know, got a lot of receipts and things if you're at the work site. Yeah, I quite like the interior of the BT50. Just the touchscreen needs to be updated, in my opinion, just with an all-new system. It's a decent size, but yeah, very crude compared with the latest systems that are out there right now. It might have been good a few years ago, but yeah, now if you know, step out of the Ford Ranger, for example, and then jump into this, you'll just see, wow, that's a bit behind. In the back, we've got more of that two-tone trim and a center armrest with cup holders. You've also got a USB port, charging port there, and climate vents, which is still, you know, it's only just becoming more common in utes now. You've got a little shopping bag hook on the back there. Passenger space is not too bad. My head's nowhere near it. The seat does feel a little bit upright compared with some utes out there, but yeah, overall, very good leg room. Even in the center, that hump doesn't rise up too far, so you should be able to sit in the middle without too much sort of annoyance there with that hump. And yeah, the seat has nice cushioning. You've got kind of, you know, a bit of sculpting going on there, so you've got some side bolster to hold you in the corners. You've also got some grab handles when you're off-roading. And then under the bonnet, there's no major changes. I still think it's one of the noisier engines in this class. They have refined it over the years, definitely. It is starting to lack on power and torque compared with some of the rivals. 140 kilowatts and 450 Newton meters. However, as I've kind of said before with the D-Max, the performance is actually pretty good. If you stack it up against the rivals, which are often a little bit heavier, the D-Max and the BT50 actually go all right, 0 to 100. Out on the highway, yeah, they cruise okay. The overtaking performance isn't, you know, it's not the greatest. You kind of just rev it out a bit and it doesn't really go as well as a sedan or an SUV. But for other vehicles in this specific class, the BT50 goes quite well. It's pretty easy to drive, even in sort of suburban conditions like this. Great visibility, as I said. You can easily see over the top of the mirror there, so you've got a bit of visibility through there. But yeah, nice big windscreen, low door sill, so you can see straight over the top. It does produce decent low down torque, this engine, so you don't need to rev it out all the time. If you're just cruising around, it's quite a nice engine. Apart from the noise, it's just a little bit louder than some of the rivals, I think. This is averaging 7.9 litres per 100 kilometres over a distance of 894 kilometres. I think that's really good, 7.9 for a big ute like this. They weigh about 2 tonnes or 2.1 tonne. I think that's a pretty good reading. In terms of the handling out on the country roads and so on, yeah, the BT50 is about average. It doesn't feel uncomfortable or completely uncomfortable. I think the Ford Ranger does handle the best in terms of car-like handling or SUV-like handling, whereas this sits somewhere in the middle. It can cope with, you know, going around corners a little bit faster than average, and it doesn't feel too uncomfortable. But just the ride is probably the weakest link, like in all utes. But in saying that, I think the BT50 and the D-Max, for that matter, do ride sort of. They're one of the more comfortable options in this class, just due to the leaf springs and so on. There does seem to be a little bit more body roll compared with the standard setup, only a little bit. But you know, of course, the sacrifice is better off-road performance. let's head out to the private road now and see what it goes like.